Okay, so funny story as to why this is up again. This was originally uploaded on August the 16th, but now it's the 22nd. What happened? Well, Sir Eden himself chose to strike the video down, all because his stupid ass goat drawing appeared in the video. A drawing that he had as his PFP on Twitter back in 2021, which was public. You do realize copyright abuse is against TOS, right, Eden? And also violates fair use, so you're also violating federal law, knowing the only option I have is to hand you my personal info to get YouTube to do something. Because that went so well the last time that happened. And this isn't the first time he did this. He did the same thing to Lyle Convoy last year over a fucking Nazi OC that showed up in that video. So to make up for it, I basically put together this director's cut with a few minor alterations to ensure the video doesn't get taken down, along with a special bonus at the end. And no, this is not his drawing. This is a very, very amazing rendition Spoken made for me. Not my fault. Thank you, by the way. On Eden, if you're seeing this, hop onto fucking Discord and go for a round 2 if you're this salty. So, if you saw Nora in the Dark Part 2, it should be pretty clear why I'm making this video, given that this sort of covers the two subjects that were the basis of discussion during that entire stream. Now, for one of the things I'm going to cover here, Spoken has our own video in the works with everything on full display, so I suggest waiting for that if you really want the full context and a more deeper dive into a certain thing that I'm going to cover here, because I won't delve too deep into it for obvious reasons. But still, I'm going to be summing up both situations, and I'm going to be giving my take on them. Sit back, relax, and grab a nice cold can of Pepsi Nitro, because today I'm going to be ripping into some of the actions from Cat and Eden. Now, one of the main talking points during Nora in the Dark 2 was a situation covering my now former friend Cat, also known as Caterkill3r. Now, Cat was someone who I publicly supported and defended during the bag drama from a couple of months ago. However, due to some recent events, that whole thing fell through a couple of days ago. Now, to quickly sum it up, Cat got into some drama with someone named Bag due to a variety of reasons. For example, Bag attacking Rogue Internet Man on a stream, Bag being awarded to Ruben a year prior, and overall some juvenile shit that in hindsight was not that serious at all. Now, if you recall from the second Bag video, one aspect of the drama I discussed was Cat and Johnny's apparent tracing of Cub and Zoophilia art, most of it being the work of an artist known as Excito. Back then, I gave Cat and Johnny the benefit of the doubt because I assumed it was the only case around 2018 at the latest, but I still gave them a slap on the wrist for drawing the works in the first place. However, soon after Bag Part 2, I got into a call with Tribat, Cat, Yentown, another individual from Bag's group, and Bag himself, and surprisingly the call went decently well, and Cat, Yentown, and Bag agreed to stop talking about each other. However, recently, it was brought to my attention during the call with Bag that Cat had an Ink Bunny page under their old username MeanBeanMachine. Now it's easy to tell this is Cat due to the art style and the fact that this was their old Twitter handle, and also a couple of things that were listed in the bio. Now, there's nothing wrong with having an Ink Bunny. Yeah, it's a site for degenerates who draw a cub and get visited by the feds, but if you're just browsing regular artists who draw normal art, I can't exactly stop you. However, when you're favoriting cub artists and people who draw a bunch of degenerate shit, you don't exactly get the right to have me be lenient with you. That's why I wasn't exactly happy when I checked the Ink Bunny and found a bunch of degenerate shit. Bag made a video where he broke his server by showing exactly what kind of degeneracy was on there, and I'll leave that in the description. But allow me to play this clip to give you a sense of what their eyes had seen.
I just sent him a
Why
ferret.
is she pregnant?
Yeah, it's not exactly a good look for Cat here. Now, a few days before I checked the Ink Bunny, I made a slight jab at them for what they had on their favorites list. You know why that fucker never has exact change anymore. Okay, for Affinity user, that's Tribat. Correction, Ink Bunny, banned from their lol. And he literally aged down his OC, so what's it with you and dating degenerates? He went from having a Raichu OC to a whatever I cannot see there. I didn't know what he was doing until Johnny told me. Also, Ink Bunny has that muted word shit. What muted word shit? And I've been using Twitter more. You know, if you mute a word, it shouldn't show up in your feed. Well, Ink Bunny had that, so I didn't see the pedo shit. So all that stuff in your favorites didn't show up, right? What? I haven't touched that site in a long ass time, and I'm tired of being called something I'm not. I'm gay and I'm attracted to older men. Yeah, you were in Bag's group and he recalled a different version of events.
I still can't believe she fucking said that. She's like an open cougar too, by the way.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Kat's been on my server, and there are multiple people who've heard her say this. Like, she's a cougar. She likes she openly said like she likes going after younger men.
Now, this is where things get a little convoluted, you know? Just a little bit fucked up, and I'm gonna leave things vague for privacy's sake, because I'm not this fucking loser, as you'll see later. But Tribat ends up finding out about the Ink Bunny because Kat was whining that I didn't want to talk to them, and shortly after that, Johnny ends up dumping them. The last part, by the way, was an unintended yet hilarious side effect. And of course, they decided to start coping on Twitter not long after it happened. No matter what I try, people will drudge up stupid shit I did. I gone to therapy and everything, but to most, I'm just never going to change. I sometimes wonder what would have happened if I did go through it in high school, if that's what would have made the world better. I regret listening to my groomers and signing up to a site that tainted me before I started seeing my doctor. I know I'm a different person, but many may not believe it. I love my partner, and I will continue to keep creating work that inspires others. If I could, I would have warned younger me to stay off that site, but I can't. The only thing I can keep doing is moving forward and keep getting better. Thank you to all you guys who have stayed in my life, I appreciate it. Okay, don't even pretend like you're just an innocent victim in this, you absolute nutcase. It isn't a matter of people not being able to see that you changed, it's the fact that you didn't change in the first place. And there goes Kat, blaming it all on groomers from years ago, and that evil site that had quote-unquote tainted them. If you haven't noticed, that's a common excuse they give whenever they're confronted with anything regarding their past, and it gets to the point where you start to wonder if they're being genuine or they just use it as a cop-out, knowing that those in their circle will continue to believe them and defend them, as was the case with me. But back to the other point I made, it isn't about whether or not you can change, it's about you not being able to change to begin with because you made claims saying you'd change and wouldn't bring up Bag's group anymore. Guess what? You bring up Ferret anytime you want to poke fun at her, even though she supposedly doesn't exist to you anymore. You said you weren't looking at Cub at any point past 2017 to 2018, yet here you are fucking favoriting this shit as late as early 2021. And that reminds me, I want to put something into perspective real quick, since we have that date there. That was a whole 11 months before Kat started talking to me. 11 months! Does that not look suspicious to you in the slightest? And as you saw before, they're apparently an open cougar and Bag server, so it's safe to say that this is a bit of a yikes on bike situation. And what's even worse is that recently, this cow thought it'd be a good idea to throw Johnny under the bus for everything. I wish I was joking. Yeah, that's definitely how you treat the man who loved you and stuck up for you, throwing him under the bus for some shit about Betty Boop. Last I checked, when you were caught tracing Excito's work, you gave the excuse that in the picture they were described as 18, even though they weren't, and now you want to do a double take on that just because Johnny wouldn't be your human shield anymore? Fuck you and the horse you traced and rode in on. You're not sorry that you did it, and you never were. You're only sorry because the 15-year-old you used to defend you while constantly bullying him and passing it off as a joke caught you being a spineless, cub-defending snake. And that's another thing I want to bring up. Kat has a tendency of constantly making jokes at anyone else's expense, whether it be mine or anyone else's. For example, them making a joke about my dad leaving, them making a joke about Russ drinking piss. Those are jokes that they have made at other people's expense, and apparently that's all fine and dandy because it's just a joke. But the second someone wants to clap back at them, like I did back in July, they throw a fucking fit like you just stabbed them. Like, I'm sorry, but if you want to dish out your brother is a car jokes...
Brother thinks he's a car.
My brother thinks he's a car? What? You're
yeah, you don't know.
insane.
Yeah, we think your brother's a fucking car. He died in the driveway, you fucking bitch.
You better be prepared for some shit to come your way. But yeah, sure, call the kid who's taking the brunt of the insults towards you a dumb brat for making a fucking joke. It's no wonder why none of my friends like them, especially after they hopped into a VC and interrupted a game of Gartic Phone to tell a bunch of children about the Mr. Hand situation in vivid detail. Frog literally had to deafen while I had to shut Cat up by server muting them until they left. If you needed a reason to stop supporting Cat, even after all the stuff I just brought up, guess what? I just gave you another fucking reason. And now we move on to Eden. You all remember him, right? He's a 20-something-year-old idiot who just can't stop getting into trouble. And, well, he's been doing a lot of goofy shit since we last talked about him. Now, for those who need a recap, Eden was someone who I became acquainted with right after posting my Galactic Spud video. We had plans to collaborate, but obviously those fell through. Eventually, I caught wind of some drama that was going on with him and decided to step up and try to defend him. He then proceeded to stab me in the back once he knew that I was 14, even though minors have defended him before. And then, he proceeded to throw me under the bus. And then, he makes a reappearance in November when he tries to post an apology, quote-unquote, which I dissected in this video. And then, we ended up having a call in December of 2021, which was, less than pleasant, but that's also in the description. And here we are. We're going to go over the highlights from the last few months. Now, the first fuck-up was when he started spreading misinformation back in June about mental illnesses, specifically saying things like how sociopathy and narcissism make a person dangerous. Actually, yes, I dated someone for 3 years who did, and it was hell. My mother also has it, and I know a friend's father who has it. Psychopathy, sociopathy, and narcissism are factually dangerous. Okay, so let's just get this out of the way. Your reasoning is fucking retarded. Knowing people who had it doesn't automatically make you an expert. I know it may hurt your feelings, Buttons, but that's how the world works. What you're doing is perpetuating stigma and misinformation, and dangerous misinformation at that. Because what you're basically saying is that all these people with the illnesses are dangerous because of how 3 people you knew had it with zero medical knowledge. And while yes, I'm not a doctor either, it doesn't take much more than basic common sense to know that you're full of shit. And a lot of people in the replies seem to agree because he got absolutely roasted and it is beautiful. You can pause it and read them off here. It's amazing. And to chime in, I'm friends with someone who has sociopathy. Yeah, he can be difficult to deal with at times, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he's a chill dude and actually has the capability to care about my well-being like a regular friend would. However, because this is me and not you, you're probably going to say that I'm a liar and an ableist and blah blah blah. I wouldn't really care if you said that to me, because I can actually take it and fire back. What I take issue with, though, is when you take your opinions on how mental health works and use them as a way of attacking others, kinda like you did to Carmen Rogue, using their SO's trauma as a way of furthering your retarded agenda. I'm sorry, did you just say your husband has murdered people and you claim sociopathy isn't dangerous at the same time? And here is what Eden is replying to. My husband has hurt people in the past, physically, but the other person always hit first. He's killed people who murdered his late wife and firstborn in front of him, causing his PTSD. And, well, that's where I'm going to leave it, because, well, you basically get the gist at this point. And then, Eden says, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but just because he was abused and his wife was murdered doesn't mean 2 wrongs make a right." Excuse me, what? You're saying that even though his family was fucking murdered, even though he's been abused, he isn't allowed to defend himself? What the hell is wrong with you? It's one thing to be saying shit like mental health, like things regarding mental health on this level, but when you start saying that people can't defend themselves, while saying that someone defending themselves when their life is in danger proves your point, you're crossing the line. But it gets worse. Believe it or not, this gets worse. Because now we get into the more recent controversy. Now, of course, earlier I mentioned that I wouldn't be going into the nitty-gritty because I'm not risking Spoken or some other adult tearing me a new one for reading through the specifics of what's coming up. So I'm gonna skip through that part. I'm sorry, but I don't make the rules. If you want to read the logs, all links Spoken's tweet in the description. that has all the screen caps, but don't say I didn't warn you. And also, there could be a chance that I'm gonna get shit for discussing this, even though the screen caps has been made public a few days ago or whatever. But for the sake of putting this out there so that Eden has no chance to continue to lie about this, it's more of a ask forgiveness, not permission type of deal. To put it simply, someone named Whist was talking to Eden and confessed about having a relationship with their roommate, and the only thing that I'll bring up about that is that Deer supposedly has the thing that Cat does. And Eden, in his lack of wisdom, comes to the conclusion that it was abusive, and when Whist takes a step back, proceeds to blow up Whist's fucking phone. And then, Eden goes absolutely mental, and calls this person, who he interprets as an assault victim, a rope bunny. Oh, sorry, I mean his alter called him a rope bunny. Yeah, no, this isn't a fucking Marvel movie. Stop pretending like your brain's a multiverse filled with people just as stupid as you are, Eden. And this was right after he threatened to call Whist's mother if he was blocked. This is some low shit I'd expect to see from the fucking Senate, but from you, Eden? That's lower than you've ever gone. And Whist eventually had enough of this shit and tossed Eden to the curb after Eden brought everything up in the stream and after all the other things that I listed before, and Spoken would later make a document detailing everything, which is now deleted. However, this led to someone named Azriel making a stream covering it. And also, as go fuck yourself, you blamed Whist for going along with Eden's bullshit, and then basically told Whist that if he didn't want the DMs leaked, he shouldn't have gone to someone who's going to leak them, which is a shitty thing to say to someone because you're basically blaming them for actions that you're going out of your way to commit. And as if this couldn't get any worse, apparently Eden pulled another Senate move and cyberstalked Whist, contacting people from his college and even his goddamn parents, presumably as retaliation for coming out about everything. Bravo, Eden, you have officially cemented yourself as one of the worst people in the Has-Been Hotel community. So, despite both situations being in completely different leagues, I still felt it necessary to lump Cat's drama and Eden's drama into one video due to how they share common factors. And those common factors are that they're willing to deceive and talk shit to people any chance they get, but will demonize you for responding accordingly. And they will throw anyone they deem an inconvenience under the bus, and worst of all, they're not above using other people as shields to deflect criticism. Cat, the shit we've pointed out aren't false accusations as you like to claim. They're things you've been dishonest about and have had no intention of telling people like me because you knew they were wrong and you knew people weren't going to be happy and people were going to point them out. If there was anything that Bag was right about during your drama, it was that Johnny deserved better than someone who deceives people and people who throw him under for not wanting to put up with you. And Eden? You're not much younger than Cat is, and yet you behave the exact same way. You are just as dishonest as they are, and you are not above leaking people's personal trauma just for the hell of it, not to mention the fact that you decided to yell at a fucking child for not agreeing with you, and then proceed to throw said child under the bus by accusing him of screaming at you, which by the way, I didn't. The call's been public since December of 2021, and you can hear me being more reserved than you were while you told me to shut the fuck up and tried to say that Bethany was a groomer when I was the victim and knew damn well that while what she did was inappropriate and even somewhat abusive at times, it wasn't grooming. Yeah, it looks like things never change, right? If there's anything to take away from this, it's that you shouldn't support Eden, nor should you support Cat. Instead, you should show some support to the people they've affected because they actually have earned it. Whether it be me, Spoken Mind, Whist, Carmen, Bag, Ferret, Tribat, anyone these people have affected. And with that, I hereby bid you all adieu, and I will see you in the next one. What the hell do you want?
First, I just want to say I don't understand why you were so venomous against me. Like, Alright. I have been hearing that you are telling people I wanted you to defend me knowing you were a minor.
I didn't
Correct?
say that you knew I was a minor.
Alright. Am I allowed to record this call?
Sure, go ahead.
Alright, so I have been given consent to record. So, hang on. Setting up this fucking thing. Discord. Alright, so, Nora, I asked you, when we first met, if you knew I was sorry, I'm tired. I asked when we first started talking how old you were. Now, granted, we first started writing this script against the Charlister stuff, but then when you wanted to defend me in a video, I was like, hey, yo, are you a minor? If you're a minor, I don't want you to. You told me you were 19, so I said okay. The reason I stopped contacting you was because I found out you lied about your age to me, which I would think is fair. No?
All right, listen. I am more than willing to accept my responsibility for that, okay?
Okay.
All right? I have been more than open about that. But, let's even if we take that into account, right? Let's take that into account. You still encouraged me, knowing full well what would happen. Given your negative reputation, Eden, all right? You knew anyone who defended you was going to get caught in the crossfire.
And I told you that.
No, you didn't.
Pretty sure I did.
No.
I tell it to literally everyone.
No, you didn't. I leaked the DMs, remember?
I'll have to go back and reread them, but if I didn't, then I'm sorry,
nowhere
I apologize.
in those DMs, Eden. Did you
Okay.
say...
And did I make you? Did
No.
I make you defend me, or did you want to?
I never said you made me.
Then why am I at fault for anything of that?
Okay.
If I didn't make you do it.
Alright. Let's settle this, right? You didn't make me, right? The reason... the reason why you're at fault, right, is because you knew full well what would happen. Not only that, it was on you to verify the age of anyone you were talking to. Right?
I'm not going to ask people for their ID. If I ask someone, hey, how old are you? Okay, you're this old? Okay. I expect them to be honest.
That's on you. That's on you. No, that's on you,
No,
Eden.
it isn't.
It is
not.
because you're supposed
It
to
is
verify.
absolutely
You don't
not.
just take people at their word.
And here's the thing.
You think that would hold up in a court of law? Like if you commit.
Alright, well here's the thing, Nora. I didn't do anything sexual with you, so I
Yeah, and I
don't
know.
see why that's the issue.
Yeah, everyone knows you didn't do any of that.
Okay, so if I didn't do anything sexual with you, and the most that happened was you defended me when I asked you for your age and you lied about it, how am I at fault?
You're at fault because you willingly encouraged me to do this, right? You didn't stop me or anything.
Thinking you were an adult. Thinking you were an adult who could handle it, and I didn't know you were a minor who had other things.
Don't
the
give
thing,
me that.
Nora.
No, don't give me that bullshit, Eden. Don't give me that fucking
thing?
bullshit, alright?
It isn't
You
bullshit.
you encouraged Jester to defend you. He was 15 at
No,
the time.
I didn't.
You didn't stop him from doing that. He was a minor.
You realize that he defended me, and I didn't know he did until after he did, right?
No, he told you. He told you. He literally asked you, "Hey, I'm just gonna go back and see if there's anything I can cut." And you were like, "Okay, thanks for sticking up for me."
No, I meant
No,
other
you
things.
had knowledge of this.
No,
You had
shut the
knowledge of-
fuck up. That's not
Wow.
that's not the context of the situation.
You're really gonna
That
act like
wasn't
this?
the context. When I was asking if you wanted me to cut anything, I was talking about the stuff about defending them with Galactic Spud. When I said thanks for sticking up for me, is because they stuck up for me with the fucking situation with, like, dead naming me. But I didn't know they did it until after they did it, and when I saw they did it, I was like, hey, thanks for doing that. I didn't tell them to. I didn't encourage it. I thanked them for it.
Yeah, but you still knew full well that he was a minor.
Yeah! And I knew he was a minor, and I didn't tell him to do it, but he did it. He still defended me, and I thanked him for that, but that doesn't mean I encouraged him to go continue.
Alright. Sure, I guess I'll take you at your word for that. Like I did with everything else.
Here's the thing, Nora. Why are you getting involved in this?
I don't know. You
'cause
you tell me.
Here's
You
the
seem to know
thing.
everything. You seem to know everything. So go ahead.
Here's the thing, Nora. Why are you getting involved with an issue with a 20-something-year-old and a 30-year-old when you're, like, literally in high school and you have all these other issues to worry about? Why is Sarah, who's near 30 years old, encouraging you to get into the adult problems of other adults that you actually have nothing to do with?
Okay, let's go ahead and go with your route.
She
didn't encourage me.
She knows your age. She's encouraging you by talking to you about it on Twitter all the time.
Okay.
By engaging with you.
Okay, so did she actively tell me to do this?
No, she didn't, but she is actually encouraging
so there's no
you
problem.
to. I don't know if she told you to, but all I do know is the fact that she's like constantly constantly talking to you about it on Twitter and shit. Like, knowing you're a minor, that's not okay. It's not okay that she's pushing these issues on you, knowing your age.
Okay, let me go ahead and say, did you have the same issue with Bethany when she did this?
What do you mean?
Oh, okay. So obviously you didn't do your research. Okay, so you seem to have an issue with Bethany, right?
Yeah, I was the first one to say she was grooming you before Sarah did, and Sarah didn't believe me for months.
Okay, so. Fuck, I lost my train of thought, but like, you didn't have an issue when...
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I had an issue with Sarah, with Bethany, because I knew she was grooming you.
Okay, she wasn't grooming me.
There's literally a video about her grooming you.
From who?
Sarah! Spoken!
Spoken did not say she groomed me.
Yes, she did!
Okay, so you're saying that Sarah explicitly said, yeah, Bethany was grooming Nora.
Yes, it's literally in the title.
It wasn't in the title. In fact, I can pull up the title for you if you want.
She's literally talking about how you're groomed, and she also talked about on Twitter, like, things to look out for when a minor is being groomed, in reference to Bethany with you. She absolutely groomed you.
Alright, let me... Since you don't know anything about this, let me say this. She exhibited grooming behavior, but she didn't groom me.
If someone exhibits grooming behavior to a minor, that means they groomed them, abso-fucking-lutely.
Okay.
And I do know this because not only was I groomed, but I have an abuse specialist who focuses on the issues with child grooming. I have gone to child sexual abuse and grooming specialists, and I've done research into grooming for years because I went after pedophiles online. She exposed you to sexual content. She talked about sexual things around you,
She didn't expose me to sexual content, Eden.
Yeah, she did. You were following her account, weren't you?
She didn't expose me.
Yes, she did. You were following her account, and she knew you were, and she was posting all of that NSFW porn on her account that I saw, that's exposing you to the content.
I never looked at any of that. I never interacted with any of it.
It still wound up on your timeline. If you were following her, it would wind up on your timeline.
I have sensitive content enabled. I couldn't see it. So you saying that I could see it was bullshit.
Okay, well what about the fact that apparently she was in like a fucking chat room with you and a bunch of other minors and like talking about butts she saw on TV, or fucking like the fact she had a towel around her after a shower or what the fuck ever?
Okay.
Like that's kind of talking sexually to a minor.
In all fairness, she said she wouldn't turn her camera on because we were minors.
Okay, but she's still talking about it with you, meaning she wants you to imagine it.
I wasn't... What? She wasn't... She didn't want me to imagine it. I think it'd be pretty friggin' weird.
Yeah, she did. That's why people say those things in front of minors. Because they want them to imagine it.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. Nora.
Okay, so...
I've talked about this with my therapist.
Okay.
I've been told this behavior.
Alright, so you're saying that, like... Okay, say I'm, like, on a call with somebody and I'm walking down the street. If I say, oh shit, somebody's being stabbed, you're saying I want someone to imagine someone being stabbed. You're saying I want that image in their head.
That's not the same context.
No, it's your logic.
Nora,
it's your logic.
No, it's not, Nora. Logic doesn't count because it has to do with context. When it comes to sexual material, if you tell someone something, especially with yourself, that means you want them to imagine it. That's what sexual partners do with each other. When they talk sexually to one another, or they mention sexual things with their body, or what they themselves are doing, it's because they want someone to imagine them in that scenario.
Okay. Okay, let's go by your logic here. Why do you care? You should have nothing to do with me. Alright?
if I shouldn't have nothing to do with you, then maybe you should stay out of my fucking business.
Oh, I'm only in your business because you were responding to my tweets. You kind of instigated.
You're literally talking about me with things that have nothing to do with you. You're getting in my business with Sarah, who has literally stalked me since I was fucking 20 years old.
That wasn't stalking.
Yes, it is. Listen, she has literally tried to find me on accounts for years when I would delete and try to make a new name for myself. Okay, Nora, here's the thing. What would Sarah even want me to do? That's the thing I don't fucking understand. She wanted me to get offline and get help, did she not?
Yes.
And what did I fucking do? I got offline for 6, 7, maybe 8 months, and I got help. I'm on new medication. I have new diagnoses. I have new doctors. I have new psychiatrists. I have new specialists. The only thing that I don't have help with is I live in a fucking abusive home.
Because you were spending your donation money
No,
on merch.
I'm not.
What about those tweets where you show off all that merch?
Yeah, that I bought months ago.
No, they were recent.
No, I bought them months ago and they arrived. It takes time for custom-made items to be made.
All right. Sure. Let's say that.
'Cause that's true.
I didn't say you were lying. I'm just saying, all right, let's go with that.
And let me, even then, I get $400 a month from disability. I have to give my mother $70 a week to live here. Also, I have to pay $20 a week to get to my doctor's appointment, which is my abuse specialist, to talk to her all the time, because she is another therapist for me that I can only see in person, because I have no actual privacy in my home, where I can't be heard talking about things that I don't want my mother not hearing me talk about, including her and how I feel safe.
Okay, so, okay, let me.
So $20 a week, 4 weeks. That's 2, 4, 6, 8. Right? That's $80 about each month. Then $280.
Closer to 90.
Okay, so $90 and so $280 minus 90. That's about $300 something. So I have about $100 to myself, maybe, not even, if I'm lucky. And sometimes I'll use maybe $20 to $30 to buy myself a treat, and then I save the rest.
Now see, under normal circumstances, I would believe that, alright? That seemed reasonable. But, let me preface this by saying, you don't just buy a treat, you buy, like, an entire fucking catalog from Shark Robot. And that shit's expensive as fuck.
When I had the money, I could.
Okay.
It's
sure.
before my mother started making me live to pay here. Pay to live here.
Alright.
That's when I could do that. And I bought those in, September? Before that rule was in place?
So this happened in September?
What?
So this happened in September?
Yes. I had an issue that came up that I don't want to talk about with my mental health. And during that time, my mother said, okay, so you're going to start paying me to live here. So I said, okay. And at first, it was $50 a week because I was in the living room. But then when I went into the bedroom that my brother used to live in, because he moved and I get the bedroom, it's now $70 a week. So it's $280 a month.
Alright, that's actually pretty fair. Because, let me... Alright,
it would be fair, but here's the thing, I'm disabled and I can't work.
Yeah,
I rely on commissions, I rely on donations, and I rely on my disability.
Alright, so if we all add all that up, right? Let's say you get $1,000 a week.
No, I don't.
Okay, let's say no.
I don't.
For the purposes of this argument, let's say you get like $1,000 a month from commissions, donations, and your disability. I think $70 a week is pretty typical, since you're 23 and still living with your parents.
But here's the thing, I can't get those donations if Sarah is going around telling people not to donate to me.
So, you're saying she's actively got an effect on who donates to you and who doesn't?
I mean, she could could. She's done that in the past.
Really?
Yes, she did.
All right, this is the first I'm hearing about this. So go ahead, tell me.
This was when I lived in Louisiana, and I had basically a work injury from McDonald's because my boss had injured me with being irresponsible with the grease basket. Basically, he held it, and when I was trying to get it back from him, he turned and put it into my arm, and then refused to get me medical help that day, telling me put mustard on the burn instead, and I didn't know how to treat burns, so I didn't know what to do, so I relied on his advice at the time. And then when I went to the doctors, they said, okay, well, we don't cover work injuries, and neither does your insurance, so you have to get workers' compensation. They would not allow me workers' compensation, so I had to get a work injury lawyer. Sarah was going around telling people online I hurt myself for attention. I also had another GoFundMe at the time. What wasn't even made by me, by the way. It was made by someone else who hosted it, because my roommate had left me up out in the water. It was a really fucking stupid reason I don't want to get into. And, he left me, and I was in the middle of a legal battle, and he was my right to work. So I kind of needed money for, getting a ride everywhere. And she tried sabotaging that. With the stupidest fucking argument.
Okay, do you have evidence that she was tweeting all this out?
Yes, I do.
Alright, go ahead. Show me, and I'll be the judge of that.
Nora, I'm gonna need you to stop using that egocentric voice right now.
Okay.
Please, for the love of fucking God.
It's not fucking egocentric.
It sounds very egocentric in your tone.
Really?
Yes, it does. Show me this evidence.
No.
Like, how do you think that sounds?
It's just my typical voice.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get this fucking screenshot. Okay. Okay. So, here's her... I'm trying to find the tweet of it, but I know I have screenshots of her saying it in a chat room.
In a chat room.
Yeah, she said in a chat room, and I'm trying to find the tweets she had, too, because I know she also had tweets. But basically, her reasoning was, do you know what DeviantArt points are?
No, I don't use DeviantArt. You know this.
Okay, so DeviantArt, I don't know this, actually. DeviantArt points are basically things where you can, there's like a thing with a little pool, and people can give you these called points that you can use to, like, get characters online or whatever. And, I don't think you can even turn it to money. So her argument that I was using points to buy a character meant I was wasting my money.
Okay.
Which is really fucking stupid.
Ooh, okay. So, why should I care?
What I'm saying, Nora, is you shouldn't be involved in this.
And why not?
Listen, you have high school, you have home life, you have parents. Like, don't you hang out with friends offline? Don't you have things that you could be doing that...
Why are you concerned with what a child is doing?
Because it's not your responsibility to be in this situation.
Okay, but
this
then...
This isn't good for your mental health.
Really?
Yes! Being a child involved in online drama isn't good. Like, are your grades doing okay with all this?
Yes. Yes, they are. You think I'm not able to focus on all of this at the same time? People can multitask.
Another thing, Nora, is you're speaking on subjects you don't fucking understand.
Okay, what don't I understand?
Well, you didn't understand the whole Section 8 housing thing because I tried explaining that, yeah, I applied for Section 8 housing, but it takes 1 to 2 years to even get approved and shit in my state because of how many applications go, like each fucking day.
Alright, cool.
So you were talking about that. You were also talking about my finances as if you know what it is. Because here's the thing, Nora. It really isn't fucking easy. Not like having a very limited amount of money given to you each month and having to give that big pool, a big chunk of that money to someone. And I have to be an adult, and I don't have a car, so I can't get places. and I'm disabled, so it's very hard to walk. So I have to use money to get around.
Okay.
It shouldn't really be her fucking business. Like, she's literally sabotaging me getting money to fucking get out of my bad place. Because even if I have to move with my mother to Florida when she fucking moves, the thing is I'm trying to save up money so that when I move, I can get out on my own, because they have better prices of living there. You know, it takes, like, literally in Massachusetts, it costs $1,000 to rent a 1-studio bedroom apartment. So price of living where I am right now is really not good. So if I can get there to a place with better prices of living, where I also have people online who are my friends I've known for years that can help me take care of things, and if I can save up money till then and get a good pool saved aside, I can be good.
Sure.
You know, I'll be good. I'll be taken care of. But with someone actively plotting and going against it, and advertising, don't donate to this person. How shitty must you be to go around telling people don't donate to someone who's having abuse issues?
I think the last thing she wants is for you to go broke and be homeless.
It's not broke and be homeless, but she's also making it hard for me to even get out, because then I'm still trapped.
How is she making it hard for you, Eden?
Because I need money to get out, and she's actively going around saying don't give him money.
You sure?
Yes! She's literally saying I'm wasting money.
She isn't actively telling you, like, she isn't actively telling people who follow you, like, hey, don't donate to this person.
She's going around and saying don't donate and don't give money and trying to show reasons not to, then yes, she is.
She didn't explicitly say, hey, don't donate to this person. All she did say was that you were wasting money. Even then...
That's still trying to say don't donate to this person.
That's not.
Yes, it is!
That's the farthest thing from the truth, Eden.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, do you want my fucking friends in here? Do you want them to fucking tell you that they are the adults who know this shit?
Why are you bringing other people into this?
Because they're my friends and they've seen this shit go down for literal fucking years. Sarah has even said I don't deserve to be a trans man. Like, she isn't a fucking source to be trusted.
She never said you didn't deserve to be trans, Eden.
Yeah, she did. She said, when I said I am a male and I have pronouns that I deserve to be respected, she said, yeah, a male with a high voice and double D cups. In other words, that's her way of saying I don't deserve to be trans.
That's not what that means.
Yes, it is.
She was joking about the fact that you are a trans man, and that is your build.
That's transphobic, Nora.
Okay. Even then, you think she still says that shit now?
That doesn't matter. She still said it. She's not apologized to me.
Alright, but like, even then? Like, you think she isn't...
Apologized.
You think she isn't trying to improve from that?
I don't fucking care until she apologizes to my face. Nothing. It doesn't mean anything.
Alright. Let's apply that same kind of reasoning to this situation.
What should I apologize for, Nora? Cutting you out of my life because I didn't want a minor lying to me about their age involved in something that wasn't an issue they should have been involved with in the first place?
No. The way you fucking portrayed me on Twitter after that happened, you basically put me on blast.
Yes, because you lied to me about your age.
Okay, but like, even then, you shouldn't be putting a minor on blast on Twitter for all. Yes.
What I said is, hey, I don't
No.
feel comfortable.
You mentioned me multiple times on Twitter. I saw your Twitter after it all went down. Don't lie to me.
And what did I say, Nora?
Yeah, all you were bringing up in like 3 tweets in a row was like, oh yeah, Nora did this, Nora did that.
The most I said was you lied about your age.
Okay.
Which
Now,
you did.
okay, and I accept responsibility for that. I told you. Like, I'm not hiding from that.
Then tell me you're sorry straight to my face if you're gonna hold up the responsibility.
Why should I say I'm sorry?
Because you lied to me about your age, and that could have got me into a bunch of shit,
That's-
if anything else.
That's what children do.
You're still supposed to say sorry for that.
Okay, well,
If you're gonna say, oh, I take responsibility for it, then say you're sorry.
all I said was, like, I accept responsibility. I never said I would apologize to you. Because, like,
Then you don't accept
what do I have to be
responsibility.
sorry for, Eden?
If you're saying you expect a responsibility for something, that means you know you have to be sorry for something. So if you're not gonna
No,
apologize, then
that's
you're not
not what it
accepting
means.
responsibility. Yeah, it does. Yes, it
Really?
absolutely does.
Okay. When?
Literally, it's like if you run into something and you break a vase, you're like, oh, I accept that responsibility. That's another way of saying, oh, I'm sorry.
Think anyone's gonna care? Like, if you're sorry for bumping into someone?
No, if you break a vase.
If you... Okay,
If you
so...
bump into something and you break a vase, you take responsibility and you say, oh, I'm sorry. I take responsibility for that. I'm the one who did it. I shouldn't have. It's a way of saying I shouldn't have done that. I take responsibility.
Alright, so what does it mean? Does it mean that I, like, I shouldn't have done that?
Yes,
Like,
you shouldn't have.
I'm the one that did that? Like, I accept
Yes.
responsibility, or does it mean I'm sorry?
It means both.
No, it can't mean both.
Yes, it can, Nora.
Really? Okay, then. Then I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry
you.
that you're such an egotistical bastard that you cannot accept when you're wrong.
You're a brat.
Technically, I did say I'm sorry, right?
No, you didn't.
Yeah. I said
That's
the
a
words I'm
backhanded
sorry.
No, you didn't.
I said the words I'm sorry. And I spoke
You
the
didn't
truth.
say I'm sorry to me. You said I'm sorry in a bitchy little way, as if saying, oh, I'm sorry, you're an egotistical bastard. Like, wow. Really?
Wow. Wow. Very, very mature response. You know, let me clap it up for you.
You know what? When Sarah fucks you over, I'm not gonna be the one you can come crying to. And I know
I'm not
she
gonna
does, 'cause
come
she fucks
crying to you.
literally
Why would I
everyone.
come crying to you? Okay. How fun.